Let's face it, letting an employee go is never an easy task, but sometimes it's a necessary task that we have to do, especially as a leader, as an employer. We take that responsibility to to the next level when we actually understand why we're letting somebody go, and understanding that there is a human being at the other end of that with feelings and emotions and aspirations and goals for themselves, not only for themselves but for you as well as the team, to be part of that team. And it makes it even more challenging when we're letting somebody go that we like and enjoy and we care for. Unfortunately, what happens when they're not performing, when they're not meeting some of the deliverables or the things that they are hired to do? We had this scenario a few months back with a client who she really enjoyed this employee that she was working with. And the unfortunate part is that she wasn't performing. The employee that she had hired to do certain projects and experiments wasn't working, despite the fact that she was a very nice and generous and kind person. Heck, the employee even baked cakes and cupcakes for birthdays. And so this makes it even more challenging, because how do you actually allow this person to experience something bad when in reality you believe that they shouldn't? And so what we help leaders know is that what you're experiencing here is this emotional discomfort, or what we call a cognitive dissonance. This cognitive dissonance happens when what we're observing isn't matching up to our belief structures. And so in this scenario, our client, she's a good person. She saw herself as a good person, and she saw her employee as a good employee as well. Unfortunately, the outcome was poor. It wasn't happening. And so what we have to try to do is bury our feelings and then still take action to let the person go, and still feel this cognitive dissonance and not really realizing what's going on. And sometimes this bubbles up and makes us fear firing somebody again, turning us into a callous leader or manager years later on. Or we actually reframe this scenario and situation. This is what we prescribed in this scenario. In this situation is you have to kind of think about it differently. You're doing this not to the employee, but for the employee. Not only to yourself, but for yourself. Because what we're understanding is that we're developing into somebody who we believe we can be. And for yourself as a leader, you have to develop into a stronger, much more compassionate type of leader. And the most compassionate scenario in this situation was to help this employee realize that they're not living up to the potential that they had put forth, to help them, to keep them accountable for that. This is what not only what you want, but what they want as well. Unfortunately, sometimes this scenario it will feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is partly to develop this growth, this emotional agility to actually understand you can develop into a much more thriving leader, not only for yourself, but for your team. And your team should also be able to hold themselves accountable as well. In this scenario, this person was realizing that this was not a scenario, a situation, or a position that was for them, that they could be somebody else at a different position. Heck, in this part, the client was able to help them find another position in a different company, which was awesome. That matched much more personal to her skills. However, if you're not aware of this, most often this comes and develops into really poor outcomes later on. And so we have to develop this emotional awareness about why we're doing what we're doing, so we can actually understand how to leverage those emotions and align it with our observable actions and deliverables, or meeting our deadlines as a boss and leader. So remember, you're not only leading projects and hitting deadlines, but you're also leading people and guiding and helping them to develop into growth-minded individuals that actually contribute to the larger purpose of your research, of your innovative company, all the things that you want, not only for your team, but for yourself as well. So reframing these scenarios and situations that it's happening for you, not to you, can help you to develop that cognitive awareness and help you to become the leader that you want to be. So hopefully this tip can help you to develop those skills.